I still remember the day I noticed something had shifted in my mom. She wasn't sick, not in a way that showed up on charts or tests, but her body was slower, her steps more careful, her sighs longer. And then her plate. The same meal she used to finish in minutes now sat barely touched. "I'm just not hungry," she said with a small smile. But I knew it wasn't about appetite, it was about energy. About the way her body was speaking, softly at first, through poor sleep, tight joints, tired eyes. And we weren't listening. That night, as I watched her nod off in front of the TV, I felt a quiet ache in my chest. She had spent her life feeding me, caring for me, loving me with every meal she made. Now it was my turn, and I thought to myself, if medicine begins at the table, then that's where I'll begin, with my hands, my heart, and a simple meal full of love. I started with dinner, because that's when Mom looked the most drained. She never said it, but her eyes gave it away. The way she moved slower around the kitchen, the way she pushed her food around the plate. She used to eat white rice and fried meat, what she'd always eaten for years. It filled her stomach, yes, but it didn't give her strength. So that night I tried something new, something soft, light, and loving. I served her grilled salmon, simply seasoned with garlic and lemon juice, paired with a side of steamed kale and sweet carrots. No oil, no sauces, just warmth and intention. She looked down at the plate, then up at me. "You made this?" she asked. I nodded, and for a moment she looked seen. That night she didn't wake up once. She slept deeply, peacefully, for the first time in weeks. That meal didn't just nourish her, it spoke what I couldn't say out loud. "I see you, Mom. I'm here. I care." Mornings used to be rushed in our home. Mom would nibble on a slice of white toast, sip some instant coffee, and call it a day. But I started noticing the signs. She'd feel lightheaded by 9 a.m. Her hands would tremble slightly as she reached for her glasses, and she'd rub her stomach like something wasn't sitting right. It wasn't enough anymore, not for her age, not for her body. So I made a change. I started waking up earlier to prepare her a bowl of warm oatmeal, slowly cooked with unsweetened almond milk. I'd slice up a banana, sprinkle in a spoonful of chia seeds, and on good days, I'd add a boiled egg for extra strength. Beside it, I'd place a small cup of green tea, just warm enough to hold in her hands. Nothing fancy, but it changed everything. She stopped feeling dizzy. Her mornings felt calmer, and I realized this wasn't just breakfast. It was a gentle hug served in a bowl. It was love disguised as food. Dinner had always been the hardest to get right. Too much rice and Mom would feel bloated, tossing in bed with discomfort. Too little and she'd wake up at 2 a.m., her stomach growling. So I began to search for something gentle, something that would hold her through the night without weighing her down. That's when I made her a bowl of lentil soup, slowly simmered with carrots, celery, and a whisper of fresh herbs. I served it with a slice of whole grain bread, warm and soft, and a small bok choy salad with a drizzle of sesame dressing. The moment she took a breath, she smiled. "It smells like something Grandma used to cook when I was little." That night, something shifted. No gas, no discomfort, no waking, just quiet breathing from her room. The kind of peace that doesn't just fill a person, but fills an entire house. Sometimes healing doesn't come from medication. It comes from a simple bowl served with care. Looking back now, I realize it was never just about food. It was never just salmon or oats or soup. It was about something far more sacred. It was about reclaiming the small joys we'd lost. It was the moment I saw my mother smile again, really smile. The kind of smile that doesn't just lift the corners of her mouth, but melts the lines on her face. It was watching her take slow, steady steps into the garden, pausing not out of breath but to admire the morning light. It was sitting in the quiet of night, hearing only the soft rhythm of her breathing. No pain, no pills, just peace. These 3 meals, grilled salmon with greens, warm oatmeal, and gentle lentil soup, were simple. They weren't expensive. They weren't complicated, but they were intentional. They were made with care. They were served with hands that trembled with love, even if they didn't say much aloud. And sometimes that's what changes everything. Not the recipe, but the presence. the quiet commitment, the message behind every bite. You matter. You are worth the care. Because when we nourish someone with love, healing doesn't feel like treatment. It doesn't feel like burden. It feels like something older, something truer. It feels like a warm hug after a long day. It feels like forgiveness. It feels like coming home. Mom, I know you'll never ask for much. You've always been the giver, the steady hands, the quiet strength, the one who held everything together without ever asking to be held. But now, every spoon I serve you, every cup of tea I pour, every moment I sit by your side, they're my words, my way of saying what I never knew how to say before. Thank you for every meal you made when your back was aching, for every night you stayed awake while I slept through fever dreams, for loving me in silence, in folded clothes, in warm soup, in soft hands on my forehead. I see it now. I know I can't repay you. Not really. But if healing can begin from something as simple as a meal, then let it begin here. Let it begin today, at this table, with you, with love. If you're the one doing the groceries, the cooking, the worrying, this part is for you. You might think it's not enough, that small meals can't fix big problems. But let me tell you, I've been there. And what I've learned is this. Healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a chopped carrot. Sometimes it's a warm spoon fed patiently. Sometimes it's just sitting beside someone while the soup simmers on the stove. And those quiet acts, they matter more than you know. So to every daughter, son, spouse, or neighbor out there caring for a loved one, please remember, you are doing something beautiful. You are showing love in the most human way, through food, time, and presence. Don't wait for perfect. Just start with care. If you're watching this and someone comes to mind, a parent, a grandparent, or even your future self, let this be your moment. You don't need to change everything overnight. You don't need a perfect kitchen or a fancy recipe. You just need one thing, intention. Start with one dish, one bowl, one quiet, loving moment at the table. That's how I began. And that's when everything started to shift. If this story moved you, share it. Send it to someone who's caring for an elder. Try one of these meals together. Sit, listen, laugh, because food isn't just about nutrition. It's a message, a hug in a bowl, a whisper that says, I'm here, I see you. I care.